Mr. Dogburn?
What is it?
I'd like to talk to you a minute.
What is it?
They tell me you're a man with true grit.
What do you want, girl? Speak.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for tonight's edition of True Grit Podcast. I'm former IMCA Modified National Champion Shane Davis, and I got my sidekick, my World of Outlaws wing sprint car buddy, Pat Moore. Pat, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, buddy. It's
Yeah.
nice to be here. The sun's shining. We got some racing in this weekend, so everything is looking great.
You know, it was kind of surprising. We had a lot of rain this past weekend, and when we talk about rain, my gosh, Donaldson rained out. We had Columbus Junction rained out, but Davenport got it in.
Yeah.
Now, we had a little character in the racetrack. I'm okay with that, and we had some close racing. In fact, let me talk about that real quick here. We'll look down Davenport Speedway. Matt Ryan's leading the feature on lap 21, 22. Justin Kai comes by, 3 laps to go, zips by on the bottom, picks up the win. Matt Ryan rolled home second. Nice finish for him. IMCA Modified, Mitchell Morrison, that brand new Harris car, picked up his first win of 2021.
Looked fast, too.
He led lap 2 to 20. Then when we get to the street stock, it was really a 5-car gaggle on that last lap. And finally, when they come out of 4, I didn't know who was going to come out of the pack. They were moving through lap traffic. And Jesse Owen picked off the win. Brandon Setzer came home second. Nick Hickson third. Jeff Struck fourth. Tony Vondreski fifth. And Sport Mods, 41 cars. We had 134 cars in the pits there.
How about that?
I mean,
that
is
is
that
absolutely amazing.
Just crazy. So 41 Sport Mods, and Ryan Walker passed for the win. Pulled a White Castle slider on that checkered flag lap, actually. And Adam Burke came all the way from Missouri, was leading it, and had about another 100 feet to go, and he did the backup shuffle and ended up second.
Oh, that's, the last one's the only one that counts. That's what they say,
That's right, man.
That's the only one that
Checkered flag
pays.
lap. You've been there before, haven't you?
Oh, unfortunately, on both sides.
Yeah.
On both sides.
So a little racing we'll cover coming up this week. We got the Rock Island County Fair up the East Moline Speedway if you want to go watch some racing up there. And we have West Liberty Raceway has the Muscatine County Fair. We'll be up there with 1,000-win late models, modifieds, and I believe we're going to be running the 4-cylinder stock cars up there. Yeah. And Pat, you and I will be up in West Liberty.
That's right. I'll be up there. And unfortunately, whoever did the scheduling, the sprints are actually running at East Moline Speedway.
Yeah.
There for the fair on that same night. But yes, I'll be with you up in West Liberty. Looking forward to it.
All right. So I think let me take a look here. What do we got coming up? In July 27th, we're going to have the Mars race. That's coming up next Tuesday at Davenport Speedway. Right. And then coming up August 13th, we're going to have the Ronnie Weed Memorial, and then we're going to wrap that up. World Outlaw Races, August 26th, 27th, 28th. Tickets are on sale right now, worldoutlaws.com. And for camping info, call the Mississippi Valley Fair at 326-5338.
How about that? I've been talking to a bunch of guys about being guests while they're on our show, while they're in town. So should be a pretty decent field of cars on a week from tomorrow here at Davenport. I know a lot of guys are running out in Nebraska at the I-80 Nationals right now, and they're going to be on their way back or on their way through to run Fairbury. So it should be a great field of cars.
Good news. What do we got going on the national scene?
On the national scene, the World of Outlaws. Actually, I'm going to start with Lucas Oil. Lucas Oil, nothing but rain. Actually, they have gotten rained out. I knew it was a lot.
What's going on?
It's just bad luck, man. They rained out 6 races in a row. Can you believe that?
Man,
they've been 2 whole weekends.
I wouldn't even bet on that.
Whew. And 9 of 11 got canceled because of rain. They finally got one in last night at Lucas Oil Speedway. Jonathan Davenport brought home the victory. The first race in like 2.5 weeks for those guys.
All right.
And living on the road, that's harsh. Yeah. That's harsh. That makes any day seem long.
Sure.
But the World of Outlaws were able to get races in. A lot of them, as a matter of fact. Frank Heckenass Jr., he won a $10,000 to win race Saturday night. In Grand Forks, North Dakota, Dennis Erb Jr. won another one this year. He's been on absolute tear. The one-man band running the high side. Yeah, Dennis Erb Jr. running the high side.
That's scary.
Jimmy Mars running the bottom. Yeah, who would have figured that? And Dennis Erb Jr. brought it home for the $10,000 win. And then last night in Menominee, Wisconsin, Brandon Shepard brought it home.
All right. Maybe he's starting to get things clicking.
Yeah. I tell you what, it was a great race with he and Cade Dillard.
All right.
Great to see that. on the Dirt Nationals Super Tour, the Hell Tour. Bobby Pierce has been kicking butt and taking names.
Yeah.
He won on Wednesday in Indy. Ashton Winger then won on Thursday, and on Saturday, Pierce ran second. And I just saw that Bobby is actually he's leading the points for that tour.
All right.
And he's not going to run the rest of the stuff, and he's going to finish off that tour and shoot for the championship. So they're going to be down in Kentucky.
All right. Good
this
for you,
weekend.
Bobby.
So, yeah. Hopefully we'll have him on the show one of these days soon when the schedule works out, and can't wait for that.
Yeah.
On the sprint car side of things, it was 5 straight days of racing at Eldora between raindrops. $175,000 to win. They ran last year's and this year's Kings Royal. First-time winner, the Sunshine, Tyler Courtney, won his biggest race of his career, $175,000. What was supposed to be the Friday show, they ended up running it during the day on Saturday. Biggest win of his career in the Clausen Marshall car. Okay. And then a guy that you may have heard of, maybe not, Kyle Larson, some young kid from California. Guy. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of him. I think he's got some potential. I don't know if he's actually going to mount to anything or not, but
they're trying him out in the Cup and World Outlaws and some dirt racing.
He may or may not have some skill. We're still kind of on the fence of undecided, but he actually convinced Mr. Hendricks to skip qualifying, stay at Eldora, skip NASCAR qualifying, stay at Eldora. He crashed the car during the first race on Saturday, the sprint car. Got it upside down. They didn't have a backup car. They completely tore it apart, fixed it. He had a poor qualifying in the second race. They ran a second race this year's Kings Royal, another $175,000 to win. He started 9th, came from 9th, and won.
Wow.
How about that?
I mean,
then jumped on a plane and flew and ran the NASCAR race yesterday.
Yeah, you know what? What the heck? Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I say. Hey, I did get an email from a listener this week, and they said former track announcer at West Liberty passed away, and I hope I'm saying his name correctly. It's Denny Wachs, W-A-C-H-S, and so thoughts and prayers going out to the family and friends of Denny Wachs, former track announcer at West Liberty. And then, Wookie, we got a picture of 3 guys who were up at Dubuque last night before we get to our guest tonight. Look at those 3 guys, man. That should have been one of our questions for a door prize. We have got Ed Sanger on the left, the number 95. We've got Gary Webb, the legend, right in the middle. He was on our show a couple of weeks ago. And then Kurt Hansen on the right-hand side. They are all 3 members of the National Dirt Racing Hall of Fame for late models. They are also combined over, I think it was 1,500 feature wins between the 3 of them. I mean, is that crazy?
That is crazy.
And
that
then
is
Webb,
awesome crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
And then Webb at 72 years old last night finished the second up there in Dubuque. So
and he won at East Moline here just a couple of weeks ago.
I have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning and make my way over to the studio.
I tell you what, he's the man.
Yeah,
he
is the man.
And couldn't have a nicer guy too.
Yeah,
couldn't have a nicer guy.
All right, Wookie, we got another picture we want to pop up there, and it's of our guests tonight. We have our good friend Brian Gade from American Iron Racing Series and his beautiful daughter Emily Gade, and the married name is Meyer.
Yep.
All right, so good pick of you guys. It looks like it's up Jackson County Speedway on the screen, and you can see behind me. Now, Brian, was that in Victory Lane, or are they just doing driver introductions there?
That was Victory Lane.
Victory Lane, all right.
You guys both look pretty happy. So.
Yeah. Man, I would be too. My daughter didn't want to race. Man, she just wanted to go watch.
Doesn't compute.
Yeah.
How the heck did you talk Emma into it? I mean, you got her started out in go-karts right off the bat.
5 years old.
5 years old, Emily. How do you like that? So did you like racing as soon as you got into it, Em, when you strapped in that cart? Were you scared, or did you think, man, that's something I want to do for a while?
Well, it started out a little bit slow. Dad was pretty busy, and Bart was still racing at that time.
Sure.
So, the go-kart thing was just kind of when we had time, and I probably didn't take it very seriously at first, but by the time I was probably about 10 years old, it really started to grow on me, and I pretty much had to beg him. Well, it wasn't too hard, but...
All right. I bet it wasn't hard.
Twist his arm pretty hard.
There you go. Hey, we want to let you know we're going to give away some door prizes as we get deeper into the show, so hang around. And if you got any questions for Em or Brian, please, or Pat or I.
That's right. Yeah.
Please post them. We'll get to them. We can see them on the board here. and we'll get your answers as soon as we can.
And also, guys, please make sure that you like and share our video. It helps us more than you realize. Make sure you like and share. And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you click on the bell, the subscribe button, so that you're notified whenever we have new content. We're also on Spotify and Twitch as well.
Twitch, that was a new one for me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That
So
was a new one
guys,
for
new
me too.
day.
I feel old.
All
I
right.
feel really old.
So, Brian, let's get to it. So, you started out, racing go-karts, with Em, and then, I remember her going off to college. And Em, where'd you go to college?
I went to UNOH, University of Northwestern Ohio in Lima, Ohio.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, I was announcing up at East Moline at the time, and I'd see you up there, and all of a sudden you're going off to college. Man, that had been great. And in Lima, Ohio, I mean, you're right by the big track.
Yep, we weren't too far from Eldora. There was actually, I did all my research before we went out there. I had
Good
Lima
gal.
Land, which is a track that the school runs, and then Waynesfield, Eldora, of course, Montpelier. There was a few tracks we could play around with.
All right.
So did you get to watch some sprint car racing while you were there?
I did go down there. I tell you what,
Nice.
I didn't grow up around sprint cars. That's not my,
Cup of tea.
which I respect the heck out of them.
Yeah.
But one of the coolest things I ever saw was one night when we were racing down at Eldora, standing in the infield when the wingless sprint cars were going by. It just
Very cool.
Just flying, man.
made your heart pump. It was
Very cool.
And Brian, when you sent her to college, you didn't rent a house in Ohio. You bought a house for her.
I didn't plan on that, but
Yeah.
that's how it happened.
Well, the reason I'm asking is Pat and I are talking about going back to school, and maybe you could help us out.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, of all schools to go to, that's where I would go.
I mean, my
It's
God,
a
give me a
school
break.
that loves racing.
Yeah. So you took a race car down there, Brian.
We did. That was one of the priorities. Was Emily was going to go to college there.
Yeah.
2.5 years. No
Okay.
racing around here, where she was
Right.
famous for.
Yeah, she was
Right.
hot. Yeah, and you
So that was kind
always
of
up
a
front.
big letdown. We need
Sure.
to go to college, but we need to race.
Now, what about crewing? I mean, Brian, did you go there on the weekends, or did you have
did.
somebody down there that helped her out?
I did. We raced every Friday night at Lima Land Raceway,
Okay.
Very nice.
which was owned by the school and operated by the school.
Wow. And so, how long a drive you talking getting from here to Lima Land?
7.5 hours.
Wow.
Yep. That's a nice racetrack too.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't been there, I highly recommend it. It's a neat little racetrack.
So, Em, it was your first time out of town. How did you like Lima Land when you got on the track? Did being a woman in racing, did the guys treat you okay? Were they there to help?
I found a few that got pretty close to that
Good.
treated me real well. But yeah, the first time I got on that track, I was like, man, this kind of reminds me of East Moline a little bit. It kind of
did.
felt like home.
So, was it a quarter-mile track?
Yep, it's
All
a quarter
right.
mile track. Yep,
Oh, man. And you did also race at Eldora.
I did a few times. Yep.
Okay.
Very cool.
So, quarter mile, half mile, what do you think? What do you like the best?
I'm a quarter mile kind of person.
All right, my kind of gal. Brian, you started out this American Iron Racing Series, and I got to tell you, I was reading a book. This is from 1982. It's the IMCA Modified Story in Review. But what I thought was funny is, I'll go to page 7 here, just read you a little piece. Early in 1979, Keith Knack and Larry Sommerfeld of Waterloo, Iowa, put the IMCA name back in the front of the public when they developed a new breed of car, the IMCA Modified, and reopened Vinton Speedway for weekly racing action. The class of racing action was developed because Knack and Sommerfeld had seen a need in the Midwest for tracks that hosted an inexpensive class of racing. Racing costs had continued to rise over the years. Top draw at most tracks was called late models, cars made almost solely from purchase racing parts, and what had been super stocks or modifieds in the past year, put together with homemade or junkyard parts, those were gone. And so what he was trying to accomplish when he was dreaming about IMCA, I know I had talked to you on the phone. That was kind of your thoughts. We fast forward all these years, and again, racing was getting a little out of hand. Bart Miller was running an open wheel modified. You knew about that cost. And all of a sudden, American Iron Racing Series was born. Was this all your idea, Brian, or did you talk to people about it, or how'd you come up with the thought?
Probably 80% of it was my idea,
Okay.
and then it got capped off with my dad.
All right.
Very cool.
Yeah. And, you know, like Pat and I, you lost your dad to COVID.
Yep, in October.
In October. You know, and Pat and I have talked about this. Pat's got a beautiful shop out in Coal Valley. He was like our family, mom, dad, I mean, the whole family raced, his uncle, and they all passed away within short time of one another. And then, you know, I kind of went through the same thing with mom and dad. And I remember the first night I went to the racetrack without my dad. It was literally the first time I went to the racetrack without my dad. And it was probably 1995 when mom died in 93, dad died in 95. And I was driving down the gravel road going to the racetrack, and, man, I lost it. And I just pulled over, and I said, okay, we're going to have to cry this thing out. You know, I missed my parents, did a lot of crying. I finally gathered her up and went and unloaded the race car, and I think once they threw the green flag, I was okay. But that's tough, losing the patriarch of your family.
For sure.
Yeah. So so Dad helped you out, so you put together the whole idea of racing these cars. How many cars did you start out with on opening night, and where did you race at? And what promoter said, hey, let's go for it?
Well, the promoter that was the best help for me was Mr. Bob Wagner.
All right.
I put it out there on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of guys interested, and I had all kinds of replies.
Good.
Went to the races that night. I think it was Makokata Fair, and Bob was still the promoter up there.
Right.
Or maybe he wasn't. I don't remember now.
Okay.
But I met him up afterwards. We met each other in the pit area.
Okay.
Bob goes, hey, I seen that idea.
Yeah.
And he goes, when you get that organized, I'll tell you what, I'll be the first guy to grant you a date.
Oh, boy.
He goes, I'm 100%. He goes, I'm your biggest backer.
Okay.
So I always got to hand it to him.
Got to give it to him for taking the risk. Now,
yes, he did.
I want to ask you, now this year, how many races did you have on the schedule?
We had 32.
I mean, 32 from one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty amazing. So, hey, we're going to look up here on the board. Let's see. Ken Reimer said, hey, official Ayers cartoonist, and I've seen you. Hey, Wookie, put that picture of Ken Reimers up there on the screen. Kenny, we're going to make you famous tonight. The official cartoonist of American Iron Racing Series right there. That's one of the guys watching tonight. Thanks for tuning in, Ken. And we have Daniel Waters saying two of the best sitting there right now. But
that's right.
Yeah, Ken Reimers, big supporter of American Iron Racing Series. So
very cool. And
yeah,
shout out to Don from looks like the north suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah,
broadening our horizons a little bit. That's
I like that.
Don, the beast from the east.
That's right.
Is that what that is? Okay. So, Emily, let's get back to you. You're in college, and you met your husband in college. I mean, that's kind of cool. And you got a good one, too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were in UMP country, out there.
Okay.
And found out he was from Nebraska. I'll never forget the first day he pulled up next to me in the parking lot, and I looked over, and he had an Iowa Hawkeye steering wheel cover.
Good man.
I liked him already.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ohio State.
when you said Nebraska, I was like,
no.
Right.
He just redeemed himself. I haven't met the guy yet, but he just redeemed himself.
Yeah,
Keep going.
No, he's a diehard Iowa Hawkeye fan.
Oh,
so.
Okay.
Plus, he was from IMCA country, kind of what
Good
I was familiar
news,
with.
yeah.
So, he happened to be in my class, and we had a lot in common just because of, where we raced and
Sure.
who we knew. And
Yeah.
Very cool.
he has family from Iowa, actually, so he spent some time in Iowa in
Okay.
his life.
So you know what fascinates me about the Gade family? I mean, you've got your sister Lisa. I remember watching her race back in the day, and she's an independent business person.
Yes.
And Brian, you're self-employed.
Yes.
And Em, my God, what are you doing this week? I mean, you had this business, you sold it. You're doing the vinyl graphics, and you sold that. And what's going on in your family's life now?
Well, ever since we had our two little ones, we decided to cut back quite a bit. Mallet had to have back surgery.
Oh, boy.
So, and that was his second one.
Yeah.
So, we decided that he was just going to do the race car thing, and I'd go get a job. So I work at the bank now.
Sure.
But
Nice.
I get to live.
You get
the
a
race
regular
car.
check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I get to live the
Maybe
race car
insurance.
life through him. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Hey, we got a question up there. When will you guys have Jeff Bone Larson on the show. I'm going to write that down because I'm old and I will forget it if I don't write it down. So that is a good one. Of course, Jeff, always in a fight for the national championship, IMCA Modifieds. Great guy.
Boy, is he hot.
He is hot right now. That guy, you know, there's certain people. I've watched a lot of drivers over the years, and there's some drivers that can just will the car to the front of the pack. They're going to make the slide for life on you. They're not going to touch you. They're going to work it to the front, you know, and he's one of those guys. So it's, you know, it's kind of amazing that we've got him running here in our market and being able to watch a guy like that.
You know, and I think a lot of people don't realize what a hotbed this is for dirt late model racing. You know, like we were talking about earlier on that Tuesday night show, and we have some, or we had here at Davenport a couple of weeks ago, we had the best of the best were here in town for a non-Lucas Oil or World of Outlaw show, and it's like everybody and their brother was here. You know?
We had packed stands,
$3,000 win. It was a phenomenal show.
So, Brian, why do you think Ayers is so popular now?
Well, good question. It was probably a little overwhelming to me how popular it actually got.
Yeah.
But I think it's because it's on the back of this shirt, I guess.
Right.
Age to perfection, I guess. We put
Is that
the
what it
fun
is?
back into racing.
You really did.
Without a doubt.
And, you know, I'm going to ask you a question. You know, as an example, Ricky Thornton Jr. had a modified for sale on the internet probably about 2-3 weeks ago, and he wants $75,000 for it turnkey. What are we talking about for an Ayers car, a nice Ayers car, like Bart Miller's car? What do you got in that thing?
Oh, you wouldn't even want to know.
Okay, you better pump the price up a little bit. I don't want to scare anybody out there, but what are you thinking, Brian? I mean,
to promote the series back in 2016, we were kind of looking for some more broken down chassis that we could convert to make somebody, you know, recruit somebody that had given up on racing.
Okay.
And Bart was the prime candidate.
You know, it's funny. I used to see Bart was up the IMCA Super Nationals every year, and they had a restaurant right across from the track.
Yes.
And he'd have his booth set up, selling, you know, the embroidering and all this stuff. And so when I seen him get out of modifieds, and all of a sudden he's running one of the Ayers cars. Me, you know, I'm a big historian. So, man, when I seen that number 501 in the black car, I mean, your dad had to be a driving force behind that. I mean, my God.
Certainly.
And Brian, name some of the drivers that drove that 501 car over the years.
Well, first and foremost, Dad started out in the Jalopy Coupes, or whatever they used to call them back in 1962.
Yeah.
The driver was Charlie Moffitt.
I remember Charlie Moffitt. God, who wouldn't remember that guy?
Without a doubt.
Yeah, one of the tops.
Later on, they moved up to what they called the Davenport Late Model Division at the time.
Right.
Help me out. I'm a little young then.
Yeah.
I was like 1 year old.
Okay, you should remember. Come on.
But Tuffy Meyer from Big Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Was
I mean,
the
come
driver.
on. Kelly's dad. I mean, that 1A car was a legend, and then he jumped to 501.
He done well.
Right.
Yeah.
He done well.
He would have, yeah.
Then they started branching out, buying bigger cars, better cars, this and that.
Yeah.
Help from Daryl Dake.
Yeah, man. Another guy. Raced at Soldier Field up in Chicago.
Very cool.
And that guy ran everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep. And they, John Conley.
Oh, Big John Conley.
Big
Another
shoe.
one.
Big Shoe John.
Man, he was something else. Yeah, all top drivers. I mean, any one of them guys would be a threat.
He took it to the front or he broke it.
Yeah.
That was about how it was.
So
I
now
remember Dad telling me that he'd come back and hand you the steering wheel.
Hey, that's right. So, Brian, tell me, $5,000, would that get you into an Ayers car?
Oh, absolutely. I got to bring up Steve Johnson. You all know him.
I mean, now, here's Steve Johnson. Here's something funny. Now, I'm looking through this the other night, getting ready for the show, and these probably aren't alphabetical. But the funny thing was that Steve Johnson was in here, and you go ahead and talk a little bit, and I'm going to find out what he had to write.
Steve Johnson got consumed by the cost of racing, he told me, and he just, he's, I think, 64 years old.
Yeah.
He says, I'm going to help Ron Cook run these Ayers cars, the Ron father.
Yes.
And then Ron said, oh, I'll let you drive a couple times, Steve. Steve thought, well,
boy.
that'd be fun. So he drove Ron's car a time or two, and then it's like, maybe I ought to buy one of these.
Oh, my gosh.
So Steve is like looking around, Steve's looking around, and pretty soon Steve's like, hey, I found one that's almost 99% ready to race for $3,500.
Wow.
Is that crazy?
Wow.
And Steve went and bought it, sight unseen, drug it up to my place. And he goes, hey, can you tell me what kind of car this even is?
Yeah.
I don't even know what this is. I said, well, that's an old Crown Victoria modified chassis converted into a Ayers car.
Yeah.
And he goes, are them Crown Victoria Ford chassis any good? I said, well, Mike Humphrey always thought so.
He always thought so. Man, that's all he wanted to build.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
Steve went home, wrenched on that car. Be darned if he didn't win the first race he was in, the Ayers race.
Check
Up in
this
Dubuque.
out, Brian.
Up in Dubuque.
Here we are. This is from 1982, 82 in review. Steve M. Johnson, born in 57. He's 2 years older than me. Place of birth, Clinton. Present residence, Comanche, Iowa. But we roll down here, and what do you dislike about racing? High cost and long hours working on the car. And he probably felt that same way when he got, an Ayers car going. And now when I run street stock, I always run Chevelles. I just like Chevelles. I like 72s, 71s, 68s. It didn't matter.
Natural
All full
born
frame.
race cars.
And so there you go. And that's what Steve's got now. And I bet you, instead of working on that thing 7 days a week, and, your life belongs to the shop. And, here's the problem. You got a family, you got a wife, you got kids, you got a business. Maybe you like going fishing, golfing, whatever it may be. And, that's, as I worked through my racing career, I remember in 87 when we won the Nationals, we won 36 features that year. And it was literally 7 days a week, eat, sleep, drink, race car. I had an employer that loved racing, so he kind of was very liberal about me coming to work if I need to work on the race car.
That's always nice.
And you get burnt out, and you just say, hey, there's more to life than these race cars, even though I love it. And God knows I'm 62. I love racing, and I'll do anything to promote racing. But what you've done now with the Ayers cars is giving the guys a car that they don't have to be out in the garage 7 days a week.
No.
If you're going to race it Saturday night and you don't tear it up, maybe one night working on it, maybe two, I can live with that. But, it's a 7 day thing that can, burn a family out on racing.
Very true. And we all know how life is fast paced now. And everything's overwhelming.
It really is.
It is.
When you look at our age, Brian, you're younger than me, but you don't know if we're going to be
Not
around.
much.
Yeah, a little. You look a lot better, though.
Oh.
You lived a cleaner life.
Well, I don't know.
And so you don't know if you're going to be around another 5 years, 10 years, 20 years
No.
next week. So you want to enjoy your grandkids.
Well, I think one of the really cool things about this series too is, and you were telling me about it before I saw them in person, is each of the cars are so unique and they have such a personality that you can geek out on. Oh my God, there's an Edsel! Hey, check it out! There's another. Oh, I think that's a '57 Chevy. Or when the Mustang was running at Davenport, and it's like you have all these different cars with different personalities. Whether you know the drivers or not, it's cool. And there's some of those cars that are absolutely beautiful. It's like, and I know I told you a couple of times when we were up in the announcer's booth, it's like that car should not be on the racetrack.
Right.
That should be in a car show somewhere, But it's
RJ
cool.
Lang.
I mean, it should be racing.
I mean, looking at that 59 Edsel, and I remember Tim Cronover that owns TC's Kettle Corn factory.
That's right.
He was there the night he won the feature. I was calling the race, and that car, whatever color red you painted it, it looks absolutely stunning. And I thought, man, when was the last time you seen a 59 Edsel racing at your local track?
And it's fast.
And so I want to ask you, Brian, Tim Cronover is probably the nicest guy I ever met. He's as honest can be. And how did you guys hook up with him to get him as a sponsor on that 44 car?
Well, funny story.
Yeah.
Our old pal Mike Johnson
Yeah.
was friends with Tim.
Okay.
And one day Mike said to me, he says, I got a friend who's a Ford guy. He used to drag race a Thunderbird.
Right.
And I caught my attention right away.
Okay.
So he says, I'll hook you up with him. So
Yep.
me and Tim started talking on the internet, Facebook, what have you.
Yeah.
And Tim said, yeah, I had my brother's Thunderbird or brother-in-law's. I'm not
Brother-in-law's,
sure.
yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And he goes, I took a shot at driving that, and he kind of liked it, and he had
Right.
fun. So we talked Fords and big block Fords and drag racing. And,
Oh, my gosh.
and I don't know. He says, why? He says, I come to the races all the time and watch your daughter race.
Sure.
I said, oh, you do? I said, I'll have to meet you sometime.
Yep.
Well, the rest is Emily's story.
Yeah. Let's hear it, Em.
Well, Tim used to bring his dad to the races all
I
the
remember
time.
his dad.
Yeah, he
What
was
a sweet man.
sweet, sweet guy. He was having a hard time. He couldn't walk very far, you know. So one night, I went up to meet him in the stands, and
Yeah.
you know, ever since that family is just really
They're good
had a-
people.
yeah, really
Just
close to my
genuinely good
heart.
people.
Yep,
That's nice.
they are. You won't find nicer people.
Yeah.
That's
you won't.
awesome. That's awesome.
So, hey, we got a question up there. Let's see. What do we got? Michael Viren. Brian, why did you change your number 5 to number 6?
Well, I actually didn't do that, Michael.
Yes, Michael.
I built myself a new car, and as you can see, it is still number 5.
Oh,
it
I
was.
like that. Michael, we're going to talk about that at breakfast on Saturday.
There you go.
And, hey, how do you like this? The Gotti family has put Clarence, Iowa on the map. I like that one. So let's continue on, Em. So you had a business, the chassis business, Rev, was you and your husband's.
Yep.
Okay. Did you sell that?
We did.
Okay.
We had a really good feeling about it.
Yeah.
We wanted to, Dan Kessler wanted to move us to Tipton. He's able to get Mallet a lot of really nice tools, a really good spot to work in, a lot more
Okay.
room.
Yeah.
Just kind of the financial backing that we needed to
And Dan was the double O
take the
car.
next step. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, let's look at the double O car up there, Wook. So
While Wookie's pulling that up, please, if you're watching, please make sure you like and share. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, please make sure that you like and share. It helps us all out. We're also on Twitch and Spotify. Also, make sure you smash that like button. I love saying smash that like button. Ring the bell if you're watching on YouTube for reminders as well, please.
So now Dan Kessler, he's the one that did he buy the business from you, Emily?
Yep, he did. Yep.
So now, I mean, your modifieds were real fast, and that's a tough game to win in. Who's the guy in hobby stock this year that's unbeatable? Number
Well,
09?
We've got a couple fast hobby
Yeah.
stocks, but Daniel
Waters.
he's been doing
Oh,
really
man.
good.
Without a doubt.
incredible.
Yeah.
That guy, he's like the Kyle Larson of hobby stock.
Without a doubt.
That guy wins every night.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the move, has it been a good move?
Yeah, it's been great. I don't know if we would be able to do everything that we've got to do this year if we wouldn't have made that move.
Made that change.
Yep.
Good.
So it's been great, and I think Dan has liked being able to
Yeah.
be around race cars a little bit more. That's
Very
that's
nice.
what drove him to approach us about purchasing.
Now, who's in your modifieds now, Emily?
Well, we still got Kyle Olson.
Right.
He's in our sport mod.
And he's a rocket. You know,
Yeah,
he's been
yep.
fast.
Yep, he's done. We finally got him to buy a new rear end last week. He was trying to race with a bent rear end. That doesn't work.
Oh,
very
that
well,
never
but-
works.
Shakes your feelings out.
You know, the funny thing is, you know, you can have a race car, it's a bullet, and all of a sudden you're really struggling out there. And man, you know, of course, you know, I'm old school. You'd string that thing up and find out, you know, if everything was square. And you'd find out one time we had a bent axle tube in my car, and it was pushed forward a half an inch, and it made all the difference in the world. Then when we went to pull the rear end apart, of course, if we just pulled an axle out, we would have figured it out because it was real tough getting the axle out. You know, back in those days, we were still running floaters. You weren't running quick changes.
Right.
And just that little half an inch made all the difference in the world.
Oh, yeah.
So
Straight and square.
Yeah, that's right.
Straight
Hey,
and square.
we are going to ask the first question. We're going to weigh an Emily Gade autographed big banner for your garage. You'd be proud.
Very nice.
I'd like to have it in my garage.
Without a doubt.
All right, but don't look at the answers here.
I'm not.
All right,
All right.
so
I don't think I'm included.
okay, good, Pat.
All right. What's our
Uh,
question? What are we going to ask? What's our...
We're going to ask the first one is going to be for the banner. How many cars have competed since the inception of the American Iron Racing Series back in 2016? And we got another one coming up quick. So
all-time total number of cars.
all-time
in
cars. Some have come, some have gone. Give us a number.
And
put it up on the board.
How are they going to enter it? How are they going to give us their answer?
Just go ahead
In
and
the
put
comments?
it up. Yeah, give it in the comment section. And if you are the lucky winner, now we go by our comment board, not your comment board, because of ping, speed, and the internet and all that stuff. You might look like you won, and here it looked like somebody else got it. Daniel Waters gets 55. If you are the lucky winner, the studio is at 1414 West Kimberly, or West,
West
yeah,
Locust.
don't go to Kimberly.
No.
1414 West Locust Street here in Davenport,
Beautiful
Iowa.
Dunright Studios. Also, shout out to Dunright TV. We're in beautiful Locust Street here in Davenport, just about a mile up the street from the racetrack.
The guesses are rolling in, and you
Ooh, look at
guys are
that.
doing a
Look at all
good
of them.
job.
Doing well.
We got another prize we're going to give away when you finally get the number on that one. So, you know, I'm looking at the cars, Brian, and you guys race everything. We talked about a 59 Edsel. I seen on the page right now, a guy's building a 63 Catalina.
Yes, sir.
Man, he's got that thing in primer, and he was blocking the primer out. And I thought, I got a race car blocking it out. But that thing's going to be beautiful.
It's my friend John Fish from La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Oh,
And he's a body man by trade.
oh my God, that
He's
car's going to be
following the
beautiful.
old Don Dickey adage where it ain't no fun to wreck an ugly race car.
I love it. I love it.
I like that. Oh my God.
You know what? I'm going to make a sign out of that and hang it in the
Right.
shop. I love that.
Yeah,
That
put it on
is
your T-shirt
awesome.
too. I mean, my God, that's a good one.
Awesome.
That's a Don
So-
Dickey quote.
You know, when I looked at that, I thought, and Don Dickey back in the day, I mean, he's been painting race cars for 100 years, and plum crazy purple was Don's favorite color.
Yes.
And that he had a 55 Ford, number 71. It was plum crazy purple, the white 71 on it, and that car was just beautiful. It was like, don't race it, Donnie.
And that's what's so cool about this series, Shane, is that the cars are amazing. They're not just a bunch of clunkers. They're almost too pretty to race, you know.
Okay.
And they're cool.
Well, don't look too close.
Well, they're still race cars, and that's what they are, still race cars. I will tell everybody watching though that nobody's gotten close yet to the total number of cars that have run airs.
Yeah. And let's see, Mallett's guess, I want to guess 66. But Mallett, you can get an autograph tonight if you want from Emily. If you don't win the prize,
There you go.
she'll still give you an autograph.
So
So
we're getting closer, but not quite there yet.
talking about those cars, Brian, you know, you got a 58 Galaxy, the 501 cars, the 62 Galaxy. Dennis, the number 23 car is a 75 Duster.
Yes.
You got a picture of that yellow Duster, Wookie? I want to take a look at that. There we go.
Ooh, Carl Thompson's on YouTube's getting closer.
All right. Yeah, you guys are getting closer. You're going to have to go up a little bit. There we go. There's that Duster.
Oh yeah, look at that.
And he's picked off a win this year, Brian.
He has.
Yeah. Now, has that got a Mopar in the car?
It does not.
Oh, man.
Dennis is actually a big GM guy.
Is he? I thought you were going to tell me he had a Ford motor.
Well,
I could kind of like it, but...
he's unique, though, because he has a Ford chassis, Chevy engine, and a Plymouth body.
Okay, well, hey, he covers everything with
Nice.
that car.
Love
It's
it.
the whole thing.
I love it.
Robin Atkins, 67 Caliente.
That is a beautiful car.
Now, when I was up at Liberty announcing one night, Bruce Yorger won in that 66 Impala SS. Is that a real SS, or did he just throw some badges
No, that
on it?
is a real SS.
Oh, my gosh.
Bruce paid a lot of money for that body originally.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's beautiful.
But he's got another car in the works.
Now, is that car a big block car or a small block?
Small blocks.
Small block, okay. And then talk about Owen Hayes. I seen a picture. There's a number 25 car there, Wookie, that was on your page. And that is a Studebaker. Has that ran with your group yet, Brian?
I just talked to that fellow today, and he
Okay.
is making his debut very soon.
Very
Okay.
He's
nice.
contemplating coming to Monticello on Sunday.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Now,
That
would
is-
that be a small block Chevy in that then? Because they used to have, didn't they have like 283s, 327s in them?
I think so. I don't even know, to be honest with you.
I was thinking they
The
had like
guy's
a
from,
Buick in 'em.
I think he's from Ottumwa.
Okay. And those wings on the back, what year are you going to say now? Studebaker was a little behind the big three,
I believe that's right.
you know, in their
styling.
design and styling, yeah. What are you guessing on that one, Pat, when you look at it?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm going to guess 63.
Early 60s, 63, yeah.
Ballpark.
That's what I'm thinking.
And I'm not an expert on Studebakers, but
No,
I think it's older than that.
is it?
a little bit
It's like
older, okay.
57, 8.
Cool
I
car.
think it's a Hawker, a Golden Hawk or something like that. I don't know either.
All right. Hey, and
But-
you
but
guys,
When do you see a Studebaker racing? You know what I mean? That is awesome.
I know. Now, keep in mind, the people that are out there trying to guess a number, I think 88's the highest number. Keep going.
Carl Thompson had 95, almost there.
Oh,
Almost there.
95. And Ken Reimer says 57 Studebaker. Okay.
There you go.
But
Thank you,
that-
Ken. Appreciate the input.
And they're, hey, Wookie, there's another car up there that's an old car. They're all old cars, but The guy's from up in Makokata.
Jacob
they got a
Hayes.
junkyard up there.
Jacob Hayes. Has
Jacob
a
Hayes.
57 Packard Clipper.
And what number is that?
11.
All right.
Nice.
Let's see the number 11 up there, Wookie. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I got to tell you, when that thing pulled on the track, I'm like, looks like a Packard. And at one time, Packard Motor Company was the largest manufacturer of cars in the United States. They had a bigger factory than anybody.
That's right.
I mean, it was up in Michigan. And so when I seen that car, I thought, my gosh. You know, you see an Edsel and you go, okay, that one shocked me. This shocked me.
Right.
I've seen it out there.
Right. Yep. And I know back in the day you saw a lot of 57 Chevys and
Right.
like, yeah, but to see a Packard out there, that's just too cool. Way too cool.
And, yeah. I mean, just pretty amazing there. So how
Mallet Meyer's awfully close.
Okay. Let's see. And that's the number we're looking for, Pat.
Yep.
Oh, we're getting close.
Oh, Don is also very close.
All
Not to give
right.
it away, but
As soon as we got a winner there, you guys better keep your eyes up there. 'Cause somebody's going to win here pretty quick. Then we'll have to go to the next one. So, Emily, as a driver, what was your best moment in racing?
You know, I don't think I could pin it down to one.
Okay.
Had a lot of good memories running at Davenport and East Moline.
Good.
Few nights when Grandpa was still coming down to the pits with
Oh,
us.
yeah.
And Dad and winning
That's
some
right.
races and winning the Dusty Kai Memorial once was really
I was
cool.
going to say
We
that.
got a winner, Dave
Hey,
Meyer.
look at that.
102 is the correct number. And, Dave, we are going to leave that banner out there at the front desk here at the studio.
And where's
Come
the
to
studio again?
Done Right Studio at 1414 West Locust Street in Davenport, Iowa. We got a big Done Right sign out front. Come in and see our receptionist, and she'll be happy to give you your signed banner signed by Emily Gade, and it's going to look great hanging in a shop,
Very nice.
a man cave, or anywhere.
That's right.
All right. So, Emily, do you have a worst moment in racing?
Which one, right?
Yeah, I think one of the worst moments I had in racing was 50 lapper up at Makokata Speedway.
Okay.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Wasn't it the Dusty Kai
I
from
think- yeah,
the
yep.
next year?
Yep, I think it was.
All right.
So
2
this was
years
after
later.
you won.
Yeah, this was
Okay.
after. I moved up a class and.
So now everybody knows you, and everybody's like, okay, so she's the one we're gunning for because she won last year or the year before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so keep
I
going.
don't know about that.
Em, your mom's saying she knows.
I don't know. We'll see. I'll talk to her later tonight.
All right.
I'll see if we're
Let's
close.
see if you guys could kind of have a meeting of the minds.
But yeah, we were at 50 laps. I was pacing myself, and the laps were winding down, and I made it up into the top, like, 3, 4.
Yes.
And on the white flag lap, I had pulled up next to the leader. There was a lap car in his way.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I got it set up.
You're going to
here.
set the pick.
Yep. And
she did it.
Yep. All of a sudden, car quit running.
What?
Car quit running. I was almost in tears. I'm like,
You should have been in tears.
Yeah.
Wow.
What happened?
The hot wire on the starter melted off.
Are you kidding me?
The headers
Yep.
were down by the oil pan in the starter, and it
Yep.
melted the wire.
Yeah.
Lost connection.
Yeah.
Backfired about 5 times. Quit running.
Come
Spit
on,
and
man.
sputtered. She made it home to 4th.
Yep.
Oh, come on.
20-cent wire.
This
Yeah.
close.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got one more probably. I just thought of down at Eldora that
Yeah.
night.
Let's hear it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I said. We did time trials down there.
Okay.
So what class is this at Eldora?
This would be what they called their
What did
thunder.
they- Bud Thunderstocks.
That was at Lima Land. They called them. It was their stock car class they had down there.
Okay.
And we went out, won the heat race, had a great starting spot for the feature, and I think I led just about half of the laps that night. And my
How about that?
one of my tires
Survived.
bead.
Survived what? 5 restarts.
Yeah, one of my tires blew the bead and flipped inside out. I hit the wall.
Oh, man.
So that was pretty
That hurt.
disappointing, but
Ouch.
it was still a lot of fun being able to say
Yeah.
you at least won a heat race. There.
And
Felt like
hit-
I won the feature.
Hitting that concrete wall at Eldora, there's no other way but hitting it softly.
did that
I
a
mean,
few
you cannot
times.
hit it softly.
It's
yeah.
it's not a safer barrier, is it, Em?
No,
Okay.
I did that a few times. Turns 3 and 4 got me more than once. So.
Hey, we got one more door prize to give away. It's a little toolkit for your car. And our question is, for that, how many features has Emily won in a racing career?
Total.
Yeah, total. And Cork, you can't guess.
Yeah,
That's right.
Don't think as high as the last set of
Not
numbers.
102.
All right, could be. You never know.
Yeah. So the answers. Make sure you comment like we've done in the past, and we'll answer. We'll give the correct answer away here in just a few minutes.
Yeah. Hey, so Brian, do you have any racing superstitions? I mean, we had Gary Webb in here, and he said when he pulled in the racetrack, if his odometer was on an even number, it was going to be a bad night. And if it was on an odd number, it was going to be a good night. So he got so worked up over this, he had to put black tape over his odometer. And so we hear all these stories from racers. Do you have any superstitions, Em?
Oh, not really, I guess.
What about
We
you,
used
Brian?
to think it did us good to listen to Iron Maiden all the way
Yeah,
to the
we-
track.
Hey!
There you go. Love it.
That's one of our other questions. You've been cheating.
We did that
Iron
for a
Maiden.
year,
Yeah, we did.
and it seemed to work that year.
Yeah, that's good. I know. That would be,
Love it.
a good one to listen to. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I always tell my son who also plays baseball, I said the only people that are more superstitious than baseball players are racers.
They are.
And you'd be amazed that no matter what level you run, you find people that are incredibly superstitious. They may not talk about it out loud, but most racers are incredibly
Amanda Brandes, you are the
How about
winner.
that? Ding, ding, ding,
13.
ding. Very
13
nice.
features and a banda. We're going to have that toolkit waiting here at the studio, Done Right TV, right here at 1414 West Locust Street. We're right next to Dittmer's gas station.
That's right. Different show.
And real easy to find. Of course, you young people, you just punch it into Google, and it brings you right here. You can pick that up tomorrow or any day this week.
Yeah.
So 13 was the number. Amanda Brandes, you are the lucky winner, and that's it for our door prizes tonight. And so beyond the superstitions, why do you like to race, Sam?
Why?
Yeah.
I
I mean, you got out for a while, and I
Yeah,
thought that
yeah.
Ayers thing was going to be a one-night deal.
did too. Well, I still had it in my mind the last time I drove Ayers and I totaled his car out. So I told myself I wasn't getting back in the car.
Yeah.
So
I
wait a
wasn't
minute.
going to do that again.
You told yourself or he told you? Because those are two totally different answers.
Well,
She told herself.
I told
Okay.
myself.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. So, and then of course Grandpa's race came around, and I was like, yeah, I'm not missing that. I'm gonna definitely get in that. And
Good for you.
My goal that night was pretty small. I just wanted to finish on the lead lap,
All right.
and we ended up doing that. I had some problems with the transmission popping out of gear.
Okay.
But I had a blast, and my kids were gone for a week in Nebraska. Grandma and Grandpa in Nebraska took them. So I'm like, all right, we're
I
gonna
like
go out.
that.
Yep, we're gonna go
Very
out. We'll
nice.
drive again, and I had a ton of fun. It's a blast getting to race with my dad, and
I mean, no kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people get to do that, Brian?
Right.
That's you're a lucky man.
Yeah.
You know?
My daughter, my sister, and my brother-in-law.
Yeah. I mean, who could say that?
That's a family of racing.
I know.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
And hopefully, one of these days, those grandkids will be jumping behind the wheel and
Well,
going for a spin. You never know.
we had him down in the pits there, or no, we had him in the pace car.
yeah, he loved that.
Dad's
Nice.
memorial race.
Nice.
Oh, man.
He enjoyed that a lot.
Oh, that's great. Hey, what about hobbies other than racing?
I don't have time for hobbies. I'm a mom.
Your mom. I know.
I change diapers and I cook semi-nutritious meals. And
No, I know. Hey,
Nice. Home cooking. What's that?
yeah.
my daughter is 30 years old now, and my son's 38, but it's kind of the same thing. She got 2 kids, and we were having a talk one day with a couple of friends. They're like, hey, why don't you go to work? She's like, man, I got 2 kids. Now, if you can do it and they're doing it, it's good for the mom to stay at home. But if mom's got to work, mom's got to work. But my God, I had 2 kids, and that's a job.
Oh yeah.
I was telling my wife, hey, I'm going to work. You stay at home, take care of business, because I wanted the easiest job. That was out working, 8 to 5. So that's something else. What's something no one knows about you, Brian? I mean, I know you like music.
God.
Now, who have you went to see, and you talked to me about Fred? Eaglesmith, right?
Fred Eaglesmith.
Right.
Yeah.
And
He's a lesser-known Canadian singer that
yeah,
I follow religiously.
so whenever he's in concert somewhere nearby,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And you told me a song to listen to by him one time.
I think I even put it on a tape and gave it to you.
You did.
Didn't
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very nice.
And
It's called Lucille, Shane.
I know. I
It
remember
just seemed
that
like
one.
it
That
fit
was-
you real well.
Oh, it was a good song. I remember that.
Very nice.
You know, when I was going to the racetrack, I mean, like Brian Burkhofer, we asked him, hey, you know, what do you listen to on the way to the racetrack? Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought he was going to say girls, 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 but he had his wife sitting next to him, so it was kickstart my heart.
There you go.
Okay,
Yeah, there you
good
go.
one.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
enjoy
without a doubt.
music. I
Yeah.
like to travel around and listen to live bands.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You know, my wife and I do. In fact, we're looking at around here, you know, between the mark of the Quad Cities. You know, my wife and I have been up there before, but back in the day, we're old enough where, you know, Iowa Jam used to be down here on Credit Island, and they used to have groups up at the college, Palmer
Right.
College.
Yeah.
And
I
so
remember that a
we
lot.
still do a lot of that stuff. We enjoy music,
Oh yeah.
and you know, it's a
Very
big part of our life.
Yep. I just missed ZZ Top at the Jones County Fair? I think that was last night, either
Right.
last night or Saturday night.
Yeah.
I missed him, so I'm gonna have to go see him in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah.
One
Okay.
of my favorite old time bands.
Yes.
Right.
Well, you should have been at my birthday party 2 weeks
There
ago.
you go.
Yeah.
Hey, do we want to give a shout out to your sister, Brian?
We probably should.
She's probably got us on a big screen up there,
Oh,
huh?
she does, I'm
All
sure.
right.
My mom's there watching, I bet.
And the name of the bar is?
Victory Lane.
All
There you
right.
go.
Party down at Victory
Perfect.
Lane.
Yeah.
And so watching it on a big screen. And, you know, again, it's amazing that, and this is Lisa that's got that bar.
Yes,
'Cause
yes.
I remember watching Lisa race.
The same Lisa that used to race.
Yeah, you guys got it in your blood.
That's
I know
right.
it.
Shout
my
out to you
God.
guys at the Victory Lane.
Yeah. I'm looking up here. We got about 10 minutes left in the show. Anything that you want to say to the fans, sponsors, supporters of the American Iron Racing Series out there, and people that are out there, if you want to post any questions that you may have, hey, Brian likes Molly Hatchet. There's a
Yes.
good old group.
I figured Ken would bring that up.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Them are the
Man
good
in
old
the
days.
know.
Okay. Anything you'd like people to know, Brian, about American Iron Racing Series? What's in the future for American Iron? The rules. You've got a tech guy this year.
We do. Mr.
Okay.
Kevin Dickey.
And you had to get a tech guy because racers are racers.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, cheat to beat. That's,
Yeah.
you know, and then they get mad. I got to tell you something. I was talking to Randy Anderson, the IMCA tech guy over at Davenport last week, and Quint Waterman, and we'll meet for breakfast on Saturdays down at our little restaurant in Rock Island. And that's got to be the toughest job, is
Oh,
the tech
yeah.
guy at the racetrack.
Wow.
And
Now-
the thankless most.
The thankless.
That's right.
I got to remember, you know, we're at the racetrack one night. We had, I'm going to think Kenny Schrader was there and Kenny Wallace. And the 36 car won. And they were teching the rotors on the car, and the rotor was paper thin. And it was way under spec. So I remember Tom Herbert says, hey, 36 is disqualified for too thin a rotor. And I remember Kenny saying, hey, do you know who I am? And he said, you're number 36, and you're disqualified for too thin a rotor. And so, you know, it gets back to, you know, that can be the most thankless job that there is.
Well, and you don't ever hear the driver in Victory Lane say, "Oh, shout out to the tech guy who, you know, says no one ever."
He's everybody's enemy.
That's right. Yeah, it's like the
it's-
umpire behind the plate. Everybody.
Yeah.
hates
Oh,
him.
yeah, which is something Bart knows a lot about.
Yeah. So,
But it's also critical in keeping rules in check and keeping
Yeah.
equal racing. And that's one thing that's very impressive about the Airs is not only do they have really cool cars out there running, and they're recognizable as being, you know, nostalgic in a wide array of eras, but the racing is phenomenal.
it is.
You know, I mean, the cars
You
are
guys are
close,
racing.
and you have cars that come from the back. There's passing. You know, it's you
The
guys are
tech
doing a
guy
great
is
job.
instrumental in keeping the cost
Yeah.
at a bare minimum that I designed it, that my dad was so famous for.
So, Brian, a Ford motor, are you guys running 347s, or is there a particular motor
There's a
that
few
you're...
guys running 302s.
Okay.
Some of us are running 347s. All of my engines are based on those two right now.
Okay.
Nice.
So the 347, if I'm going to come out there and buy a new motor for my Airs car, what kind of money are those things running right now if you supply all the parts?
It's funny because me and RJ Lank were just talking about this
Okay.
right before I got in my car and drove up here.
All right.
he was amazed at how good that engine runs he's got in his
Oh,
car.
that thing sounds like a beast.
And we decided that we could sell those all day long, exactly like the one in his car and my car and Bart Miller's.
Yeah.
For less than $4,000.
Oh,
That's impressive. Wow.
I know, that's crazy.
And we've gotten 60 to 80 nights out of them engines
Yeah.
in the airs division.
Oh, my God.
With nothing but oil change.
Now, Michael Viren wants to know, where can I buy an Ayers t-shirt?
You have to talk to Jerry Stamp about that. He opens up a store once in a while on
Oh, he
Facebook
does? Okay.
page.
He
Nice.
does
And those
Diamond,
good-looking
Diamond
shirts.
Cutter Graphics.
All right, Diamond Cutter Graphics.
Gerald Stamp.
All right.
There you go.
And then Ken Reimers has got Victory Lane, a great place to eat. We'll be there for lunch on the 26th.
Yes, he will.
Does your sister run lunch specials?
She does.
All right. And
And
Brian,
hot
how long
beef
does it take to
today.
get from the Quad Cities up to home?
The drive,
Yeah, the drive.
what was it? We left, when we leave?
So it's about quarter to,
We got here early and we left here probably, what, quarter till?
yeah.
Okay.
Quarter till 6 we got
Yeah.
here.
Very
Oh,
nice.
yeah. Not bad.
It's not bad at all. It's definitely around 40 minutes, I would guess.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
So, Brian, your car number 5,
Yeah.
is that from Bart? Or what's the history
No,
of
Bart
that 5?
took my number.
Oh, he did?
I'm the original.
Ah,
That's
that's
one
where
of
it
the things I always
came
like to
from.
ask, yeah.
Okay. And Em, you're in the 6 car now.
Yep. He
Okay.
had to paint it up just for me, so I would
All
have to
right, I
come
like
race it.
that. And then, where did that number come from?
And when I was growing up, I was a big Mark Martin fan, and I can't
Oh,
Nice.
really even tell you
All right.
why, but he was just somebody I latched
Hey,
onto when I was like
man.
in my, I don't know, 3, 4, 5
She
years
loved
old.
him.
Ford
Very
guy,
cool.
clean guy.
Very cool.
That guy never roughed people up.
Yeah.
Nope.
Man, if he
Nope.
couldn't pass you clean, he just didn't pass you.
I
And
really
yet-
liked him too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
it's
was
one
a
of the
good
things
guy.
we always like to ask because I love the stories behind where did the numbers come from because a lot of times it's back to somebody that you watched growing up, and that's really cool.
Now, Chuck Hanna says, Brian was instrumental in helping me racing when times were tough. I can't thank him enough. Chuck,
sure.
a regular, in the late model division over at Davenport Speedway right now. Drive the number 65.
Yep.
Lloyd Bacon's asking, is the 347 the crate killer motor?
It is a strong version of it, Lloyd.
Okay. All right.
Very cool.
Yeah, and, that's one of the transitions we've seen in the different classes, modified, late model. You're starting to see a lot of those crate motors out there.
Yeah.
And that, it's got to be tough on a small machine shop. And
Sure, sure.
I mean, really. Auto Rods is now Auto Rods. They're right downtown Davenport, Iowa. They're one of those, trying to stay at it. And
A couple of motor builders on the Illinois side that have shuttered as a result of it. But it's it's kind of an evil catch-22 when the cost of the motors are going up so fast. So.
Yeah. And then Dave, who now owns downtown Davenport, Iowa, right on Rockingham Road, Abraham's.
Abraham's, right.
I took a lot of my street parts down there to get worked on. He goes to church with me. And whenever I go in there, Brian, they seem like they're doing okay. I mean, maybe they found niche business doing hot rod motors and boats or whatever it may be, but they always seem to have, a fair, amount of stuff they're working on down there.
Yep. I'm just a small machine shop. I do it as a secondary business.
Yeah.
I make more money rebuilding transmissions.
And transmissions, I mean, I always remember your logo was with a tranny.
Yeah.
Back in the day when everybody was running power glides, were you building power glides then, Brian?
A few.
Yeah?
Typically they're designed to fail though.
I had a few of those that were designed to fail. So, let's see. Deb Speece said, I met the Gades about 8 to 9 years old, or 8 to 9 years ago. My husband has known them. Emily talked about the Crownovers being a super nice family and how they're close to her heart. Well, that is exactly how my husband and I feel about the Gades. So they are great friends, and we have a lot of fun with them. I mean, what a great testament. At the end of the day, that's what you got, Brian. Is
Deb's
what
husband
people think
Terry
about you.
Speece is Danny Kessler's uncle.
Oh, man.
Cool.
And me and him have been friends forever. He actually used to work for me back in the early 80s when my first Gaudi motor business started.
Very cool.
Putting the puzzle
known
together.
Terry a long time. Great dude.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Em, the future for you. Stick to the American Iron Racing Series. Do you ever think you'll get back into, the IMCA stock car, outlaw street stock, any of that stuff?
IMCA stock car is something I've always wanted to try, and every year when I go to Boone, I sit in the stands
Oh, my
for
God.
Super Nationals. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this someday.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened yet, but we'll see when the kids get a little bit bigger, maybe,
you go.
and not such a handful.
All right. Now, what about a favorite racetrack? Do you have a favorite track you like going to, or? I mean, I love Boone.
I've never raced at Boone. I love going there to watch. I tell you what, I had a really good time at Dubuque a couple weeks ago, and
Sure.
I've only been there twice now, but I mean, I love East Moline, I love Davenport, so there's I can't narrow it down to one.
Yeah. Anytime a racetrack shutters its doors, I'm sad.
Right.
So people out there that are listening right now, you know, support your local racetrack. Get out there, go to the races. I mean, it's a cheap night of entertainment.
That's
You know, Davenport Speedway, we're always running specials over there. A couple of weeks ago, we had $2 beers, $3
That's
hot
right,
dogs, or the other way around. But I know we were selling a lot of beer and hot dogs that night.
Well, we're able to get out in a safe environment, especially as society's coming out of COVID. You know, we get out, we're able to do something, get some live entertainment. It's still safe. Plus, it's something that the kids can enjoy. You know, it's just all around good entertainment.
Okay. Now, Brian, why do you think that it really is a family sport, racing? Because, you know, we talked about Pat's family, my family, your family, Berkey's family, you know, the Webb brothers racing, Gary Webb, Ray Gus and his family, Mom Margaret,
Kais,
grandmother. I mean,
Simpsons,
it's
you name
why
it,
are
the
so many
Dirks.
families attracted to this? Because is it that so many people can easily get involved, or?
I would guess so. I don't know. My dad was a natural, I
Okay.
guess, and him and my uncle Leroy,
Yeah.
they were the instrumental in the 501 car, and
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, it just rubs off on you.
All right.
And then it rubbed off on Emily, and I got to tell
Yeah.
a story.
Yes, let's
We
hear it.
I love
started
good stories.
watching races at East Moline. What year was that, Emily?
Oh man, that was
You were not old enough to drive.
it
I
wasn't
want to
too
say
far.
05, maybe
Yeah.
06.
Probably,
So she would have been, what, 12, 11, 12 years old.
yeah.
We decided we need to do something on Sundays because Bart didn't race on Sundays.
Okay.
We ran Friday, Saturday, and he was doing other things on Sundays.
Okay.
So we decided to go watch East Moline racing.
All right.
You were the announcer, if
Yeah.
I do believe.
Yeah, I was up there for a few years.
And we enjoyed it so much. And we started sitting in corner 4
Yeah.
up there with all the crowd. Who
Oh, yeah.
The rowdy crowd.
Mr.
The
Chuck
rowdy crowd.
Hanna.
That's right.
Mr.
The
Rich
rowdies like Chuck Hanna.
Rich
Right.
Nordholm and geez, we
Oh,
just had a
Rich,
blast.
come on.
We had a blast.
Oh,
every
my
week.
gosh.
And Emily would always come along, and she was a tag along, you know.
Yeah.
And she would tease Chuck and put peanuts in his hair.
No, he was the one putting peanuts. You could not sit in front of Chuck Hanna if he was eating peanuts. You'd walk around with a couple shells on your head.
Ah, that's funny.
And we had a good old time. But Emily would always sit there and poke me, and she'd say, you know, Dad, I'm going to race here someday.
Oh, man.
And I'd always say, oh, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And her mother thought, no way.
Yeah. But, man.
And then as time went on, and at that time when she decided she was capable of racing there,
Yeah.
you were the
Yeah.
promoter of that track. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember that, Brian.
And you were so kind to us.
Yeah.
And guided us and welcomed us.
I got to tell you, Brian, you know, I first helped out at Verneyville at Bluegrass. And so, you know, we were able to build a new concession building. We covered the grandstands. We bought all the seats. Those were from the Denver Broncos Stadium when they remodeled it. We brought in the seats with the backs. And I always said, wherever I go, whatever I do, I want to be able to leave and say, hey, I'm leaving a place a little better than when I was there. When we were at the Rock Island County Fairgrounds, we got a grant for $35,000 to paint the bleachers. We, over across the street at United Township High School, they were putting all new lighting in their gymnasium, and we got them. They just donated all those mercury vapor lights, which all we had inside the grandstands were 200-watt bulbs that were put in 1959, little metal hood. So we were able to upgrade that. We painted the whole inside of the building. We roofed the buildings, the concession area, put new countertops in the concession up front and down in the pits, bought new coolers. I mean, at the end of the day, I said, man, I want to leave this place a better place than when I walked into it. And so I feel good about that.
Certainly.
And I just say, hey, you know, I look at that track now, and you know, I know Jeff Peterson's just giving it 110%. and a couple of weeks ago he raced when they had rain and shouldn't have raced. But I thought, man, my hat's off to that guy. He's out there on the grader at intermission trying to clean the track up. So, my hat's off to all them guys. And like I say, anytime a track closes around here, it doesn't, it's not good for dirt track racing. So
my wife still remembers the time when she suggested to you that you put hooks in the bathroom in the women's.
Right.
For the purses.
Yeah. I remember that.
And then the next week, you did it. And she thought that was so cool.
I had a guy that was a retired Korean War vet, and he just needed a little extra money to make it, so I give him a job over there. And he would scrub them bathrooms every week. And, we epoxied the floors, but you get a lot of traffic in there. And if it needed a fresh coat of paint, he painted them floors probably 2-3 times that race season. But he put the urinal cakes in all the urinals. All these little touches, and when Cork said, hey, put some, hooks in there, we put the hooks up. But, we had to live within a budget, and we had certain things we could do. And, of course, it was a lot cheaper putting coat hooks in there than it was putting in all new lighting, because we had to have union electricians come in and put in all the lighting. But we had a lot of fun up there. You guys supported us. And, the only thing you can do is you just give life your best. That's all you give it. And
That's right.
That's all I can do. I can give my best.
Do you remember the most sage advice you gave one night down in the drivers' meeting? She knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Do you remember one night?
I gave a speech.
You did.
And
and you were fired up.
And it was a speech from the heart.
And it was.
And I remember, you and Em coming up and saying, hey, they needed to hear that. And that was, a good speech. And
Words of Wisdom by Shane.
There you go.
That's right.
Stop taking your 6th place car and trying to win. People will do it. And I lived it. When I was driving, I would say to myself, I was always honest. And Dan Norton owned the modifieds, won a lot of races. And I'd come in, we'd get 2nd or 3rd, and Dan would say, hey, Shane, what was wrong tonight? Nothing was wrong. Tonight, given the track conditions, our setup, all that stuff, we had a 3rd place car. Now, I could have banged down the 2 guys in front of me and made it a 1st place car. But, we were running, IMCA Modified was so cheap back then, we were running, 5, 6, 7 days a week. One time during the season in '87, we ran 14 shows in 13 days.
Wow.
And we were at Mason City, Iowa at a day show Sunday, and we come back to round out our 14th show Sunday night at East Moline. So, you just try to, like I say, don't try to take your 6th place car and run people over, because we need cars. It doesn't pay anybody when you tear them up, take them home alive. And I used to look at cars like John Bull would be an example. That guy took that car home alive every night. That thing looked like he just rolled it out of the trailer, and you admire people like that.
Yeah.
And
True.
you
Doug
had your
Crampton.
drivers. Doug Crampton was another one. And I told Doug that. And I meant it from my heart. Man, when you roll that thing back in the box at the end of the night, it still looks beautiful.
Yes.
You're not out there tearing that thing up.
Words of wisdom from Shane Davis.
And they were great. That burned into my brain, and it's still there.
Yeah. All right.
So true.
It is, Brian. You just and don't feel bad about it. When you talk about guys like Brandon Shepard, he struggled this year, and he just kept fighting, and boom, got a win over the weekend.
Right. Yep.
Sometimes you can do all the right things, and you're still not going to win the feature. That's just the way it is. Tim Crownover just put a post up there.
Yeah.
TC's a big Harris fan, loves seeing the old classic racing, and you can buy TC's kettle corn at any Hy-Vee in Illinois.
Side of the,
right?
Illinois side of the river. I love that.
And
it's worth a trip over there just to get it.
That's right. You know what you need to do?
Sure.
Become a friend of Tim Crownover's on Facebook, and he'll let you know when he's cooking up the fresh stuff. All right?
You're making me hungry.
Yeah, I know.
You're making me hungry.
All right. We ran a little over, but I had a lot of fun. It's 10 after. Brian, thanks for coming on and talking about the American Iron Racing Series.
Appreciate
and
it.
just stuff. Emily, it's always a pleasure seeing you, and thanks for coming on the show, and we enjoyed having you. We had a good time tonight. How about you, Pat?
It's a great time as always.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being a guest. Time flies,
Yeah,
but thanks for coming and joining and sharing some stories with us.
All right. Well, God bless all you great race fans out there, and we'll see you next Monday night, 7 o'clock on our True Grit podcast. Good night.